Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and it's our 22nd hundred episode. I never 20. Yeah, it doesn't matter. 2,200 episodes, and as I said yesterday, and I'll try to recap this briefly. This is possibly the last 100th anniversary that I might have before this series ends, because I've been doing this every day consecutively since Disney Plus launched. Yeah, every day for 2,200 episodes, 2,200 days. That is kind of, yeah, I didn't ever imagine reaching this point. But being that we're running out of things that I have yet to watch on Disney Plus, and again, I'm selective. I don't do things that are sneak peek from Hulu or ESPN Plus. No, those don't count. These things have to be natively on Disney Plus, whether it's National Geographic, Marvel, Pixar, things like that. It's Star Wars, things like that. It's the way it works. I've limited myself, so I'm never gonna just start digging into Hulu, because Hulu has a lot of stuff, and I'll be doing this series for the rest of my life. And as much as I've enjoyed it, and two or three of you have as well, I I don't want to do it. I have other things planned. Speaking of which, I have other things coming up that I'm going to be adding. So soon you won't be finding just Disney Plus Everyday Challenge episodes. You're going to find other types of videos that I'll be making, that I've been working on. I've been waiting to launch it until after I reached 2,200 Disney Plus episodes. So be on the lookout for that. Things will be appearing in the feed. It's still under the Pop Culture Geek umbrella, but it will be in a different playlist from this. So, yeah, it's definitely geeky. Anyway, today's episode is about tiny house hunters. It turns out that the tiny is about the houses, not the hunters. So, this is just a docu-series, well, a reality TV series. And being reality means it's not real for the most part. I mean, a lot of it is. The foundation of it is, the core of it is, the concept, absolutely real. People are looking for small houses, things to downsize in, maybe start their first home as a young couple, like in the first episode of the only season that's on here, season 2. I don't know what happened to season 1, but season 2. This is an HGTV series, by the way, but it's on Disney Plus now, as it's so many things are coming in to Disney Plus now that were not ABC owned. Maybe HGTV is an ABC owned thing, a Disney owned channel. I have no idea. There are like 4 or 5 corporations in the world that own everything, so I don't know. In this case, I only watched one episode. It was 21 minutes long, and that's kind of the average of all the episodes. So yeah, what we got here in the first episode that I watched was a young couple. It does focus on only one couple at a time due to the length of the episode. Had this been like a 44-minute one, they could have probably hopped between 2 or 3 different people or subjects in order to find the house. So, but 21 minutes, it's clean. It lets them look at least 3 different houses. They're all pretty similar in size. They're all tiny relative to, regular houses. And there's some have better amenities than others. I actually don't hate this series, because I do like architecture and how people use space in which to live. I live in an apartment that is roomy enough for me. Would I, if I had other people in here? No. So in this, it's you get some 160 square foot situations, sometimes double, sometimes really not. You can't get much smaller. It's got to have a door, a floor, and a roof, and 4 walls. And inside it, you got to fit a bed to sleep in, and maybe a kitchenette, and a shower, and a toilet. Sometimes that's the same room. You can, one guy called it an all-over bidet. Yeah, I don't want that in my, I don't want that. No. It literally, one of the captions on it says you could fit this entire thing inside a porta-john. No. I like the idea of a small place, but all the crap that I got here, and I'm not going to show it to you, all the crap that, even just this arcade situation that I got here, yeah, this will have to go away. There's no room to put any of this, and everything else I have would have to go into storage. So I have to get rid of this. Selling everything on eBay. So they look at 3 different houses, and they bring her dad along. It's a young couple. They're engaged. They're about to be married. They're going to start their new life, and kind of independent, rather than sharing, staying in a room at her parents' place, which I'm sure they love. I think he's a musician, so that's even better. So they want to get their own house, but why start with a $500,000 house? You're in Central Florida. Get a tiny home that doesn't float away when the waters rise. That's an important part. So get very inland. Don't go to the coasts. Just saying, it'll be a little bit longer until the water rises if you're more central in Central Florida. I know a little bit about that. So. So they go in these little. This realtor takes them around, and her dad comes along, and his job in this is to basically poo-poo everything. Like, this is small. I can touch both walls. It's not very big. He's stating the obvious, and he's also there so that the couple aren't just in conflict. He's also in conflict with them, and while he probably felt that way, as any dad would, he wants the best for his daughter. I just imagine that a lot of it was scripted, or at least prompted in certain ways for certain reactions that they may have wanted. So I've said this before. I've been in the background with reality shows. Nearly all of them are fake, in the sense that, while maybe the disagreements or conflicts are real, they have to often be nudged and exaggerated in order for it to be at all interesting and make people want to watch more of the same stuff. So when somebody's not getting along, they might disagree on something, but it's really, for the show, it has to be like, you stupid, blah, 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 or somebody really secretly holds a grudge, and it creates drama, Kardashian style, that honestly is useless. I realize it gets views. It makes people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe they broke up over looking for a tiny house. That does not happen in this episode, just to be clear. But, adding the dad in there, who's going to oversee everything and probably pay for it, is, yeah. It's one of the funny things about this is that they looked at 3 different places, and none of them were really good for what they wanted. And this guy is the guy that's trying to show them around. He's kind of a realtor, but they're also they build tiny houses. So, spoiler. I'm going to give you a spoiler on the first episode. They look at 3 different places. One, very small. One, very large and twice their budget, which is $20,000. By the way, this is from 2014 to 2015. So, it lasted 2 seasons, as far as I can tell. There's also tiny house hunting, which apparently there's just a lot of tiny house shows that all just came out around the same time. But tiny house hunters here, we find that the tiny house with the shower toilet, which is prison basically, and then there's the double budget one, which is really roomy and kind of nice with an extra loft and everything else. That was just too expensive at $40,000 or $39,000. And then the other one, which she kept asking for Victorian style. You ain't going to get a whole, unless you're really going to throw in some money for styling and everything else, you are getting plywood, you are getting tin coverings, and it's not going to get fancy. You're not going to get a Victorian style place for the money you're looking at, naturally, already built. So, spoiler, they didn't choose any of the 3. The guy who was taking them around says, we build these things. We can just sort of get you set up in a sense. Create the box on wheels or whatever it is, and just make sure you have a roof and functional electricity and water and heat, and then you do the work to style it as you like, whether, putting the color of the wood that you like, covering things a certain way that, fits your tastes. And you can use the room inside, break it down however you like. And I'm sure they helped with that, but they spent under budget to get the place made, and then they spent a couple thousand more to style it out in their own taste. So that's an option. I don't think I've ever seen that in any kind of house reality show where people remake homes and put the shiplap up and all this stuff with the... Yeah, there's none of that. You don't really pick a fourth option. That's not on the menu usually. So that was interesting in that sense. But yeah, the exaggeration, the lines that I imagine they are fed in order to make the conversation more interesting on camera. Yeah, that's always not real. I'm sure that you get a few people that when they interview them, they really go for the people with a little bit more character and a repartee between the couple or the individual or the family. Maybe that's, usually the situation also helps, but this is not the kind of show I'm into. If I had to, I'd watch it. If there's somebody else in the house going, hey, well, let's watch Tiny House Hunters, I'd be like, okay, there's a lot worse on TV. But I really don't like reality TV shows, so that's the way things go. All right, so we've done it. That's the 22nd 100 episode. That is the proper way of saying it. 22nd 100 episode. Maybe 100 more? Maybe 150 more? We'll see. Let's pick tomorrow's episode and get the next phase of this going. 100. Little scroll. Oh, we have a movie. And by the way, we don't have many movies left. Other than the stuff that I know is coming, that's being added between October, November, and December, which I only add in the next quarter, which is after January, which is also not holiday themed. I'm trying to get rid of all the holiday stuff in December, just finish it off. I don't want to do any Christmas stuff in July. Well, I won't make it to July probably, but I won't want to do it in March. So get ready for everything that I have not watched, that it has not watched, that's holiday themed. And that is a lot of that type of movie for people who aren't like each other, and then they fall in love despite themselves because Christmas. Those. We generally call them Hallmark movies, but everybody's in that business. Hallmark may have been the template network for it, but everybody does it because they're cheap to make, and you just hire the same people 50 times to do a slightly different take on the same exact story. It's rare that there's a variance. Anyway, this is not one of those, because I'm keeping all the Christmas stuff till December. This is actually a classic movie that I never thought would get added to Disney Plus, but it's full of stars. This is The Devil Wears Prada. So yeah, I'm watching The Devil Wears Prada. God, is that Anne Hathaway? And I know who it is. I know who else it is. Iconic actress. Yeah. Anyway, The Devil Wears Prada is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.